Hello, Queer Eye fans. We are on season 2, episode 5, the episode we've all been waiting for. We have a trans man, and we also have a very special guest here. On this episode, we're getting a perm, it's blown out, and we're also going to Oz. So let's go.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Okay. Superfan is back, y'all.
That's a bad
vengeance.
Oh shit.
Oh my gosh, I'm so feeling this fam right now. Hello everyone, if you didn't know, now you know. That is Todrick Hall, and it's Expensive off of his Straight Outta Oz album, which is very appropriate for this episode, Oz inspired. Matt's not here, so you get to look at me this entire episode. I'm Charles Connolly. This is our very special guest. Want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Marlowe Percival, and I'm a trans actor.
Trans actor.
Which is relevant.
Very relevant for this episode.
Hi, welcome.
Yes, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Guys, I'm Hollywood Lean. You can find me on everywhere. Hollywood Lean.
And I'm Drew Jones. So let's get it started.
Let's get all up into this gig, shall we?
Let's go.
Well, so I guess first off, we want to thank again Marlowe for being here. He is a trans actor, and recently beginning your transition. Is that correct?
Yeah, very recently, just in April, I started.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So
only a couple months. Is that 2-3 months? Yeah.
Yeah. So how has that been? Because you've been in the entertainment industry, you've been an actor. How has that been, kind of transitioning in the entertainment field?
Yeah, I mean, it's been hard. I thought, like, for the most part, like, when I came out, like, it was going to be like, okay, I'm going to take a really long break or whatever, and I'm not going to do very much. But yeah, I mean, it's been hard without work, but like I have like a recent gig that I was on was like Freaky Friday, the new Disney movie that's coming out soon.
Woo!
So that's
Promotion.
that's kind of like keeping me rolling, and like yeah, I have a lot of support, and like my talent agent is really supportive and still trying to send me out for roles and stuff. So like yeah, it's still good. It's better than what I thought it'd be.
It's working out.
Yeah.
Well, I knew you'd work it out. Yeah, I saw some of your stuff, and you looked amazing on camera. And in Freaky Friday, you're doing all the great promotion, so you're clearly working it.
Thank you.
So, how long have you been acting? Why don't you tell us a little bit about like how you got into the acting business, or how that all started? I knew it was kind of from a young age, right?
Yeah, it's very young. I started, well, originally when I was younger, like all my sisters, they all were dancers, and so then I started dancing. And with that, I was kind of like, okay, well, I'm going to take like acting classes to like kind of help with that or whatever. And then from there, I took it when I was like 10, 11, 12-ish. And yeah, I just realized that like I loved acting more. It was like totally where I was myself. And yeah, through that, I think through acting is like how I found myself and how I came to understand who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know in the acting industry, there's a lot of pressure to fit into a very specific mold. You're told your brand, you're told what type of roles you should go out for. So identity is like a really huge thing in acting. So was that like a conversation that you had to have with your agent about completely switching your brand? I mean, how did that whole work out? Or do you still kind of go out for the same types of roles? Like what's the shift there?
I mean, right now it's like it's a totally different shift. Like before I came out, it was like my typecast was like cute Asian girl. And like now it's like all these like gender fluid, like trans man, like just starting to transition stuff. And there's not very many of those roles, but there's some of them. And so those are that's kind of like my typecast now. And I do kind of hope to like break out of that eventually, like as I continue to transition to like go back into what I was doing before, which was like cisgendered roles and like, yeah, roles of various types, not just the trans roles, not just the trans stories, but like, yeah, stuff like that.
More cisgender roles. Because I know in Freaky Friday, am I correct? You have a cisgender role in that.
Yeah, I'm
role.
a cisgender woman.
Yeah.
I got Freaky Friday before I came out. I was like gonna come out like during that time, like before I got it. And then I got that role and I was like, oh, okay, I'll just want to leave it, whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm glad I did it, even though like it was hard. And it was especially hard because like the role I got was like a super hyper feminine like girl in heels, and she's like ditzy and puppy dog like and whatever, and so it's like the complete opposite of me. But like it was really fun, and it was yeah, a good challenge.
Yeah. Now, I love a Freaky Friday moment. I think we all love Freaky Friday.
Yeah.
So was the Freaky Friday that Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis, was that the first one or was that the second one?
That was the second one.
Okay, so the second
Yeah.
one. So third time's a charm, this one's going to be even better, right, than the first two?
It's got me in it.
You
So.
think so? Oh, absolutely. See, we love a confident man, yes. So how was the whole process? I don't know how much you can talk about, like, filming Freaky Friday, but how was that whole experience? Being on set and filming Freaky Friday, was it amazing? Like,
Oh, it was so much fun. I mean, I've never worked on like a Disney movie before, but like they treat you so well.
Really?
Like, they're like, yeah, they put like so much money into it, and like you feel like so pampered, and like I honestly feel like I don't deserve most of it, but like yeah, they treat you so nicely, and even just like because it's like a musical, like everyone's just so generally upbeat, like the morale, like everyone's just happy all the time.
Yeah.
For like these like 3 months that we're filming, even though we're doing like these like 14-hour shoots, everyone's still like smiling at the end, even though we're all
it's like Disneyland.
dying. Like it was so cute. It was so much fun. It's one of the best set experiences of my life.
That's
for sure.
well. That's cool. That's good to
Yeah.
know. You're like, is this smart water? Like, really? The waters you're giving me are smart water, like Fiji water, very high end stuff. Cool. So you say you started from an early age. You're going through a big transition now.
Yes.
So I told you I was going to ask you this before. Like, what kind of idols did you have growing up wanting to be an actor? Like, were there any men or women that you looked up to that you wanted to model your acting style after, or?
I mean,
Because you're 19, you're very young.
yeah. I mean, the one person that I can think of would be like, since I was little, like always watching like the Oscars and stuff, I always wanted to be like Meryl Streep, even though I'm
Me
not
too.
like she can
Me
just play
too.
any role. She could play a man. She could play like she could be anything, and I just like totally want to be that. Like I want to be an actor that could just embody any role and just like do it perfectly. And so I guess that would be like my number one thing I could think of from like when I was a kid.
Have you seen Albert Nobbs with Glenn Close? Didn't she portray a man in that movie? And she was like nominated for an Oscar, I think, right?
I didn't see it.
I don't
No?
think I saw that.
Well, I think it came out like a few years ago, but it was like it was Glenn Close, but she portrayed like a full-on man, and I'm not sure if it was a trans man in the movie, but it was interesting. I'd wondered if you had seen that or had any insight.
I haven't seen that, but that
you can add
sounds
to your list.
up my alley.
Honestly, like I haven't seen it either. I just saw it nominated at the Oscars, but yeah, it seems like a cool movie.
Yeah.
So what types of roles are you more interested in? Is it like the Disney role, or like would you like to get into comedy, more drama? Like what's your goal? Like what's your dream role?
I mean, like, as an actor, you kind of like just do everything that you're given, because it's like you take what you get. But I mean, yeah, a lot of the shows that I like are a lot darker and a lot more like horror stuff. But also like Disney, like the musical, that was like something that was on my bucket list.
Yeah.
So like that was really cool. Like I'm glad like I got that, and I
That's
would totally do
awesome.
that again in a heartbeat. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to do more serious roles, more challenging roles. Stuff that like I would have to do research about and would have to like
Really immerse
with the
yourself.
like with the trans thing, it's like okay, like I get that, so like it's easy to embody that role and stuff. But like yeah, it'd be cool to do something just totally out of the box.
So you like horror movies?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I would have not expected that. Like the Disney kind of background, and you're so young and you seem very like vibrant and upbeat. I wouldn't expect that you're into like the darker
I
horror
like
movies.
everything. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, cool.
Yeah.
So, Freaky Friday, you are a trans man. You are joining us on this AfterBuzz panel. We're all very happy that you're here. And I guess now's the time we're going to jump in the episode, y'all.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Right? So this is season 2, like I said, episode 5, and the title of this episode is Sky's the Limit, which is aptly named because the sky is the limit for this trans man named Skylar. He's just completed the physical part of his transition from female to male. He's a trans man. So what do y'all think about this episode?
This was easily the most emotional episode in my opinion. I binged the whole season. So
Yeah.
this was really the one that I was like, okay.
From the top.
It really got you.
Because it opened up with the
yeah.
surgery.
Oh my
The
gosh.
opening,
That was like a
wow,
10, like-
that was drama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's so. I mean, for me, like especially relatable. So it was
Yeah.
Very sweet.
Yeah, I'm
Very
sure like multiple spots in this episode hit you emotionally for
Yeah,
sure. And like normally with Queer, it's such like a light, fun show. They opened up on like a really serious note,
Yeah.
like really showing you the gritty, up close version of what it is to transition. It's not always like, I mean, it's not comfortable.
Yeah. It's
So
true. Yeah.
I thought that was cool. So yeah, this was a great episode. Again, the guy's name is Skylar. And so let's first talk about Karamo. Karamo's experience with Skylar. Karamo did an okay amount, I feel like, in this episode. The main spots was the driver's license moment, which was a huge milestone in Skylar's life.
So I thought that was great. I don't want to discredit Karamo. I thought he did a good job, and I thought he really tried to be there. And I think the driver's license was so huge. He was like, "This is going to be my task."
Yeah.
So I think he just took that on. I don't think there was anything else he could have really done.
I do kind of feel like with the driver's license thing, it was like he was probably going to do that anyway, like with a friend on his own. Like he probably didn't need
It's like,
Karamo for
Karamo,
that.
you can come along.
Yeah.
But if he wouldn't have
yeah.
showcased it on the show, you know what I mean?
It's true.
We wouldn't have seen it. So I think it meant something. So
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
that's where Karamo fit in. So I'm not mad about it.
Yeah, in all fairness, Skylar doesn't really have an issue with. He seems like a pretty confident dude. It's not, and
Yeah.
Karamo's thing
Yeah.
is like, I'm gonna get to the root of your issue. Skylar doesn't really have issues. It was more him taking this next step into what he feels like is completing him as a man, and so Karamo's really just there more as a support system rather than what he normally does, which
Yeah.
is just nitpick and try to figure out what the issue is at hand.
And I'm not trying to throw any shade at Karamo. I mean, I've said it in the past, like sometimes Karamo doesn't do that much in the episodes, but I really do feel like this
I
one
can't
was...
with you and the fan. I just can't.
You
even
can't?
take- I can't take you seriously.
I can take me seriously with a fan.
It's like if a fraternity had a fan. Like it
I
just looks like
it's too
like
much.
Alpha Sigma something made that fan and gave it to you.
Read. Ooh, this feels good. This is really good under these hot lights. I'm gonna do this even more now because y'all can't take it. This is a super fan. Okay, well, I'm not trying to read Karamo or shade Karamo. I'm just saying that this episode wasn't his time to shine, right?
Yeah.
But I do think that the guy who did have a severe moment was Bobby. Like,
Yeah.
with that whole house transformation, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Totally.
That was incredible. I mean, we walk into this house, all the Fab Five walk into this house, and it is like a queer haven. There are pride flags everywhere. Everywhere you look, it's like a little tchotchke type of thing, like something
It's
you would get.
just juvenile.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
it's
something
very
you would get at a
young.
gay pride festival, something you'd get at the parade and like tack up on your wall. It just seemed a little bit young.
Young is okay. I think it was juvenile is like the
Yeah.
perfect word
Yeah.
because young is like when you're young, you can put up a picture of Christina Aguilera and be like, you know what, that's what I listen to. So
I have a
whatever.
picture.
You gotta put it in a frame.
You know what I mean? But this guy had like
Vigil.
Yeah.
25 hats tacked up on the wall.
yeah.
He had a blanket as a curtain. You know what I mean? It's just juvenile.
The
Yeah.
pea couch, the cat pea couch.
He's 30 years old.
The
you know what I mean?
cat couch.
That I
Yeah,
was
right.
like, how does that? I have a cat. I was
Exactly.
like, how does that happen?
And they like put a blanket over it, and then when they lifted up the blanket, it was just totally like acid had like ruined the leather, burned through it. It was
Yeah.
horrible.
Acid.
Pretty much.
Yeah, acid, acidic, something that has acid in it, something involving cats. Yeah, so we walked in, and the house kind of seemed like didn't belong to a 30-year-old man or 30-something-year-old man. He was 30, right, Skylar?
He's 30.
Yeah, it didn't look like it belonged to a 30-year-old man, which is common in these episodes. I mean, a lot of houses need zhuzhing. But the thing that was different about this one was it needed zhuzhing, and it also needed to be, like, taken down, if that makes any sense. Like, it needed to be
Yeah.
lifted and brought back. It was just a lot of sparkle, a lot of color.
Yeah. Well, I really liked what he was saying about how like you being queer is just like a column of like who you are. Like
Right.
it's not everything about you. You're more complicated than that. You're a bigger person than that, and so your space should reflect that. Which I like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's
And-
much more
Totally
impactful
agree.
when it's just like a little.
Yeah.
But can I be real though? I was not in love with the color of his bedroom.
The green.
The
Yeah.
forest screen?
Yeah.
I liked it.
I
I
liked it. I just didn't like it on.
Nice.
I think it would have been like a fun maybe accent wall, but I think
The whole
it
green.
as a
Yeah.
whole was just a lot to take in.
Yeah.
Maybe in the living room. I don't know if the bedroom was the best
Yeah,
choice for
I would
the
have liked it
forest
in the
screen.
living room maybe.
But I do like forest screen.
Yeah, I
Me
loved the
too.
color,
Yeah.
but it just didn't. I don't know. It almost made it feel like the room was smaller. A little
Okay,
bit.
like a little too dark.
The,
Yeah.
the
I can
room
see
did
that.
look a little smaller.
I can see that. Yeah, I think that it looked better on camera, actually. I think if you actually walked in and you saw that forest green, you might get a little overwhelmed. I can see where it's coming from.
Yeah.
Although I did like the forest green moment. But it made me wonder, I did think about this, because it showed pictures of Skylar when he was in high school, as a woman, and he seemed like he was very feminine as a woman, and I'm wondering if he had, obviously that wasn't the room that he grew up in, and it makes me wonder if he went like so masculine with his like decor of his room currently, because his room when he grew up was like more feminine. It would be interesting to see like how he grew up in high school, because I'm wondering if there was a big deviation there, if he like did not want to do anything remotely feminine in terms of like decorating his house. Now I know he'd embraced feminine in his fashion, but
Yeah,
it just
no,
made
that
me
happens
curious.
a lot to trans people.
Yeah.
It's like I don't want to be seen at all as like a female, so I'm just gonna be like totally
like
super
abandon
hyper
everything.
masculine. It's like, and most of the time it's not who they are, and it takes time for them to find that middle ground.
Yeah. Are you in that process now, if you don't mind me asking, just like finding that?
No, I
New
mean,
identity.
I try to like really keep true to myself, because that's kind of, I feel like that's the point, and I try to like be real with myself. Like when I'm trying to be hyper masculine, I'm like, oh wait, that's not me. Like I'm bubbly and cute and whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Right. Try
That's
to
cool.
keep that.
Yeah. You don't want to be like performing, like a performed
Right.
gender type of thing.
Yeah.
That's cool. I love that like new kind of modern view on trans identity, is like it's not about performing more feminine or more masculine. It's just about finding your own gender identity.
Yeah,
in the
exactly.
middle sometimes. So yeah, that's a lot of what this episode was too. With Skylar was like finding his gender identity and being able to express that, and Bobby helped him to make his home and his room more like Oz inspired. I loved that whole theme throughout the whole house, is like the Oz inspired moment, because Todrick Hall was a huge inspiration to Skylar.
Yes.
I think this was the most like intimate Bobby's been with someone as far as like redecorating their house. I feel like he put a lot more effort and love into this one than I think we've seen on other episodes, because he could relate to Skylar
Bobby was featured in this episode for
He
sure.
really
heavily.
Yeah.
And normally he's just, we're like, where's Bobby?
And I love that.
Like a couch.
I love that. I said that like didn't I say like a few episodes ago? I was like, we need more Bobby. We need a Bobby segment. And in this episode, we actually saw him looking at a chair, y'all. So he's being featured. The producers are listening, even though that the show had already been made whenever we're doing this after show. So maybe I just watched the episodes and decided to make a false prediction, pseudo prediction. So now let's jump into Antoni, who also didn't do a lot.
That you saw.
That I saw. Okay, here we go. Drew defends Antoni even more than I defend Antoni.
I don't know. I'm sorry. The Poke Bowls did not look good.
They did look
I'm
good.
sure
When
they were
Antoni-
good.
Like,
I don't like
I'm
fish,
a huge
so like
Poke
I
Bowl
wouldn't like
fan.
it, but
It looked super basic.
Well, it looked good when Antoni made it. Whenever Skylar made it, I feel like it looked a little like gray. Almost. The
Well,
fish
the tuna had been in there for a week.
True.
I just don't know if I'd make poke at home. Like I would have to make it the day I bought the tuna. I couldn't just let it sit in the
Well,
fridge.
that's what you're supposed to do. Yeah. You can't.
Well, you know what?
Regardless.
I bet Antoni, like, whenever Antoni asks Skylar, like, what kind of stuff do you like? When Skylar said sushi, I bet Antoni was like, did you really just say sushi?
No,
like,
but you
I'm
just
not
said
going to tell you how to
don't
make
have to run with that. I knew he was going to do that. And it's like, you can't just
don't
talk to
have-
him for 2 more seconds
Yeah.
and find
Like-
out his second favorite food. Like, oh,
Right.
yeah, it's sushi. Like, great.
let's
what
go-
else? Oh, sandwiches.
It's like,
Perfect.
But what if
Perfect,
his
then we're going
second thing was like
sandwiches.
escargot?
Well, then why don't you just find out? It takes
know.
2 more seconds to ask.
But maybe they did and we just didn't see it.
Oh, he didn't clearly because he was like,
Just say you
perfect.
hate Antoni and let's call
I
it.
don't. I'm really attracted to him. I
No,
love him.
I'm attracted. I think we're all attracted to Antoni. I am
Yeah.
definitely attracted to Antoni.
I
a
think.
beautiful
Well,
man.
you've made it definitely clear, but in the creepy way.
I know, I've been super creepy about it. And I've been trying to tone it down, but it's not working at all. It's not working. I don't know how to
bless
play
your
it.
heart.
I know, I don't know how to play it subtle. It's not my brand.
But anyway, I thought the little rice cakes looked hella good. And
I would eat those alone.
I wanted to know how to make those, and I wish they would have like
Told you.
given me the dummy version.
Well, they said it was like rice in an air fryer, right?
Yeah.
Which an air fryer I'm not too into.
because
would
I
wanna-
own an air fryer.
No, I want to fry it in some
I
grease.
feel like Antoni really missed the mark this week. Sorry, babe.
Oh, now who's shading Antoni? Oh, you were kind of shading him from the start, right? You were telling me not to. Okay, cool.
I always keep it real from the beginning. Like,
Oh,
there's,
okay, from the
There's
jump.
no black and white with me.
From
Like,
the jump.
I mean, there's only black and white with me. There's no gray.
No gray area. There we go.
Sorry, I'm wearing black and white, so I'm just like,
With
I'm
your
being
Taylor
literal
Swift
today.
reputation shirt. Oh my God.
Big
Well,
reputation.
I always stan Antoni, but maybe this episode wasn't his time to shine. He looked cute. He wore guy liner at the end whenever they were like viewing the transformation moment. He wore the guy liner. That was like his highlight. So when your highlight is guy liner, maybe you're not
I thought that
so
was
featured.
Bobby.
No,
Bobby
Bobby
wore
wore the skirt.
The skirt.
And the guy liner.
Guy liner for everyone.
Guy liner for everyone.
For everyone.
Bobby's didn't look that good though.
Right, because
I
he
don't
stole it
remember
from
Anthony
Jonathan,
either.
who's taller.
I don't think Bobby looked that good in the eyeliner. Sorry.
But you know what? I feel like there were certain people from the Fab Five who had to be heavily featured because that was a big. Like I don't feel like food was a big part of
Right.
Skylar's journey, so
Yeah.
that's why we didn't see a lot of Antoni. And maybe I am defending Antoni.
No, I guess. I don't feel like you need to bring something to just be there. Like, I could just be on the bed sitting next to Skylar.
But you know
listening
that's
to
not
him.
how the setup of the show goes.
I know,
they
but
were
you
like
don't necessarily
Antoni.
I feel like you just have to be realistic about it, and they were realistic about
You're
it.
right,
You know what I
you're
mean?
right.
Sometimes, not this episode. Like with the sushi, that wasn't realistic.
No.
Nobody makes poke at home, okay? Nobody.
Okay.
I make
Nobody.
poke at home.
You do?
Yes.
Okay, well we're gonna
And
have a
what would
special segment.
And what would people from back home say to that?
Well, I'm from Kentucky, so they'd be like, "What the hell is
Kentucky,
poke?"
we're gonna have a
Yeah.
special segment on this
Exactly.
great
But
after
because
show.
I'm a cultured Californian.
No, because you live in LA.
We're gonna have a special
And-
segment on this after show. It's gonna be called Kentucky style poke,
drag me.
and it's gonna be amazing. I'm here for it.
If you live in Hawaii, you make your own poke bowl.
Okay. Right. We have determined that Antoni was not at his best this episode, but now we're going to talk about my two favorite members of the Fab Five on this episode, Jonathan and Tan. We're going to start out with Jonathan. I think this was one of Jonathan's best this season. Really great transformation. He
Yeah, the
toned-
curly hair was
Yeah.
the perm
Not
was not
cute.
good.
So bad.
Not good.
not cute.
So he toned down the beard and he blew out the perm. And he kind of zhuzhed up the ginger in him. He gave him some more color, which I liked. I
Yeah,
liked
I liked
embracing
it.
the color.
Yeah.
So, and a lot about, you can speak to this a little bit more, but I think a lot about like embracing your trans identity and embracing identity as a masculine man or as a man in general is your physical appearance. It's a huge thing. And Skylar was holding on to this beard with dear life.
I know.
And it
like-
needed to be torn off.
Yeah, like I
Yes.
get the significance, man, but it's throw it away.
No, yeah, it was not a good look.
He
and
was like Lucky Charms, but then he went to like sexy Ron Weasley, and I was here for it. The beard at first was so bad.
That comparison is so on point.
yeah, it really is. Lucky Charms to Hot Ron Weasley. I love it. Well, and if there was ever anybody to break it to you that the beard has to go, I would want it to be Jonathan. Like, you can't be mad at Jonathan. When Jonathan tells you the beard has to go, you're like, okay, I'll take the beard.
I wouldn't have been mad at the beard if it would have like went over the lip too, but just
Yeah.
If it was a
down
neck
here-
beard.
I haven't seen one of those in so long,
No,
like
not
where it's just
since
like a
the
chin
90s.
strap.
Yeah, no.
Well, I think I got what he was trying to do. I think he was trying to accentuate like a more masculine jawline.
Yeah.
But you can do that with the stubble that Jonathan did.
Yeah.
And Jonathan actually explained it really well too. In that segment, he was like, whenever you have something dark on your chin, it actually recedes the chin, makes your cheeks and neck look bigger. So Jonathan has it down to a science. He's a style scientist, a grooming scientist.
But I like,
Everybody's different though, so I don't know. I feel like even though Jonathan suggests something, I just feel like it shouldn't always be concrete. You know, I feel like if I want to rock a beard, then I'll rock a beard, and if I don't want to rock a beard because I want to feel girly today, that's what I'll do. I feel like everyone is always just figuring it out. I feel like even when you're 50 years old and you come out at 50 years old as a trans person, I just feel like everyone's always figuring it out. So I don't really feel like there's no definite answer about like how I should feel or look today.
Yeah.
And that's just
And
how
Jonathan
I feel
says that
about
too.
that.
Yeah.
Jonathan said in the episode, like, I'm always about to meet people where they are. Like, I always want to do that.
that's what I really like about Jonathan, because he doesn't drag you. One,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tan, talking to you.
Tan.
He doesn't drag you, and he always is trying to meet where you're comfortable. Like, he'll help you get out of your comfort zone, but he's not going to force you into anything. And I
Yeah.
think that's a
Yeah.
huge part of their confidence rising is, doing something
And he'll give
that
you a
they like.
compliment.
He will. A lot
And
of
it's always genuine. Like, I always agree with the compliment. It's never
Mm-hmm.
like a compliment where you're just like, you just said that because you're trying to be nice. Like, it's
Yeah.
always like, you know what? I agree with you. He does look good.
Yeah, category
Yeah.
is genuine realness.
Yeah. Totally love it.
I love that.
Love Jonathan.
So also, in addition to toning down the beard and amping up the hair, we saw our first makeup moment with Skylar, and it wasn't like a huge moment in the episode. It was just like a little bit of light coverage concealer, because there was mentioned that the hormones, is that the correct term? The hormones that he was on can amp up the amount of oil that your face produces, and it can kind of give you some skin issues. So it was, I think, good that Jonathan addressed that and said, hey, it's okay for a man to wear makeup. I know that I put on a full beat every day I go out of the house. I'm wearing a full beat now. But yeah, I thought that was a cool little moment for him to include. Jonathan.
Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm not looking forward to the breakage.
The breakout. Well, you look like you have great skin, though. I don't think
Well, right now,
Yeah.
it's okay because I'm only like 2 months on it. But
Oh, yeah.
give me a couple months,
Okay.
I'll be a little teenage boy. Like,
Good.
But it made a huge difference.
It really
It
did.
So
really
true,
brought
yeah.
everything together.
Sometimes you need a little blot. And I like JVN's like address to it because Karamo had on way too much makeup in the car.
Karamo does
He does too
amp
much
up the
makeup
makeup.
sometimes. I could see it in the GoPros.
Yeah. It's like
Tone it down
matted.
a little. Tone it down a little bit.
Yeah. You really need to be careful with those close GoPro
Just a
angles.
little setting powder, let it bake.
Little green stick.
Good to go. It's cute.
Sometimes all you need is a green stick. You don't need everything.
Yeah, you don't need all that full coverage. So the other guy who did amazing of the Fab Five was Mr. Tan. And Tan was all about trying to find this amazing middle ground between the masculine and the feminine with Skylar, because Skylar does do drag, but he's a drag king, so he's like hyper masculine when he's doing drag. But he also likes to bring in some feminine style in his wardrobe. We saw some pieces that were more feminine, and Skylar was really upfront in saying, like, I'm at a place now where I would like to incorporate the feminine into the masculine. So I thought that was cool that Tan had the opportunity to do this, because normally he's just trying to go masculine, butch queen realness.
Totally.
So, yeah.
Can I be real though? I wasn't like in love with the looks, really. But I mean, they met.
I liked that.
I like everything except the stars.
I think maybe that really threw me off. I wasn't like, I didn't think they were horrible, and I don't know, I wasn't in love with them.
Really?
But I
I
loved
didn't love the
Tan's.
stars, but like it was Skylar. It
Yeah,
was so
Skylar
Sky- like,
loves
It
it.
was
she lit
super
up when
Skylar.
saw
I just
those
think
stars.
Skylar and I don't have the same fashion. I think he looked very nice.
Yeah.
I just was.
Yeah.
There have been other, but I loved the reaction he had to them. I think that's what's more important. Is
Yeah.
he
Exactly,
genuinely loved it and he felt good about it. And I love the conversation that he and Tan had about being trans. I felt like that was such an important conversation
yeah.
to get to.
That was
experience.
probably the part that I liked about
was
the
a moment of the
experience
episode.
with Tan, because I thought the clothes were just okay. Like I thought the clothes were okay, but the stripes. I mean, the stars thing that was not cute.
Well, I think that it was Todrick inspired too, because a running theme in this episode was Todrick, because Todrick was kind of the catalyst to get Skylar kind of feeling confident, and he loves Todrick, he loves everything about him, and he wanted to incorporate him heavily in his wardrobe, and I think that's where the stars came from. I probably wouldn't wear the stars, but I liked it, to be honest.
I liked it.
I thought it was cool.
cute.
Oh, these are the before and afters. So that's the before. You know, that's a guy that you see on the street. That is Skylar with the beard, rocking the backwards cap. He had a wall full of those caps, y'all. And every time they cut to him, he had a different hat on. And there is the gorgeous after the blowout with a perm.
Face looks so much better.
The fade
So
does
cute.
look better. And you can tell he's confident. He's rocking it. If I saw him at a bar, I'd wonder what his name is. And
Side note.
And he's really happy about his body too. He's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
he's bringing body because he got a little sucked up on the side.
whoa!
Yes.
Look at that body!
Come on,
Telling
chiseled.
you.
Oh my
Nice.
god!
He thick. Let's
a-
go.
So this is on Instagram from May 30th. This was a year after the top
A
surgery.
year post-op. Wow.
Nice.
Well,
And
He
then
was-
this also is the next one from his Instagram as well.
Okay, wait. I'm
Let's see.
sensing the
Oh, he's
beard
back
coming
to the
back.
hair.
Yeah.
The beard is back.
And the hair is bad.
You know,
But
he
it looks like it's
good.
growing a little bit more on his neck. Like,
Like what?
Well, yeah,
the
he
Adam's
was
apple
telling him.
thing?
Yeah,
like he was
about
telling
that.
him. So I'll take it.
Okay,
No,
if Skylar, if you're watching, we implore you. If you love the beard, you love the beard. But you know, you look great either way. But well, you look a little bit better one way, which is the stubble. But we stand.
You know what?
here,
I'm okay
so.
with the beard if you just do something that's too. It's one or the other. You can't have all of this and then all of this.
Yeah,
you gotta
you're right.
like
It's
one
true.
or the other. I can't be doing this. It's just too much.
Yeah.
Going crazy.
But that's the wonderful before and after picture. We do it every week, and this one was a great one.
Wonderful.
It was wonderful. It was gorgeous. It was perfect. It was beautiful. So yeah, that was the tan was the fitted suit moment. I love the fitted suit
Oh,
thing
suit
too.
was so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the suit. Suits are awesome.
I want a suit.
That was my favorite outfit.
I don't think it's the most basic thing. Like, he's like, I want to take you back to the basics, and it's a suit. And it's like, no, it's not actually a suit. It's actually a shirt and a pants. That's what basic is, and underwear.
Right.
Yeah.
A shirt,
T-shirt,
I think it's just saying like
pants, and
basic,
underwear.
like
That's
a
what
lot of
basic
men
is.
have.
But a suit
suits.
is a commodity. It's something that not everybody can afford. So don't act like it's the basic tan.
Oh.
But I do love a suit,
Read.
and especially a nice tailored suit to accentuate certain body types.
Yeah.
I thought it was super
Totally agree.
sweet
I
that
thought it
like
was cool,
he
too.
got to have it tailored with someone who was like who knew about it and could
Absolutely.
like work around like his comfort zone. So he had a good like tailoring experience. Like I thought it was really unfortunate that he tried to get suits tailored and then
Yeah.
like had really bad experiences.
But it's so awesome. I didn't even know that existed, that resource for trans people
yeah.
to have their clothes fitted for their bodies.
Yeah.
Now, you said earlier, I want a suit. I heard you say that. Have you gone shopping for suits for some of those masculine
I'm actually
staples?
getting a suit made because the Freaky Friday Disney premiere in New York is like at the end of this month. So I'm getting like this
Oh my
really
God.
bright colored suit made for me, and I'm very excited.
Oh, that's awesome.
Are you going to post on your Instagram? I need to see pictures.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my God. Wait, hold on. What's your Instagram again?
It's Marlowe Percival.
Marlowe Percival. It'll
Yeah.
flash up on the screen at the end of the show, but follow
Actually,
that.
I
because-
wanted to ask you a little bit about that because I'm an actor as well, and I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I have something really, really major coming up at the end of the year that's going to shake things up, and I feel like I'm in a limbo. How do you feel right now just knowing that everything's going to just change? Because this is huge. This is a Disney movie. And I worked
Yeah.
on Disney. I was in Step Up.
Right.
3D. So I know about, it was nothing. I was just a dancer, but I know what you're talking about, how they treat you good and the food is amazing and everything's. This is a huge deal for you. This is a featured role. So how do you feel about the Limbo right now before it comes out? Because after it comes
Right.
out, everything's going to change. We're going to feel incredible. But how do you feel right now? Because I know I'm terrified.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I kind of feel the same way. A little bit of that like anxiety and you not knowing like how
People are
it's
gonna
gonna turn
receive
out.
it.
Yeah, like afterwards and like, yeah, like it sounds big, but like, is it gonna be big? Like, I mean,
But you worked really hard. You put your soul into it.
yeah.
Okay, maybe not.
I know I did, of course, but like, you know, I don't know. Yeah, I definitely feel that same thing that you were saying is that like a little bit of fear, but it's definitely exciting and it's very like you just kind of want it to happen so that you can stop being in like this like limbo place of like,
Totally.
just waiting for the movie to come out and stuff.
Well, you have a better attitude than me because I'm more like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I feel like you're like, this is my third time. I'm ready for it to just bam.
Yeah.
great.
Are you worried about it? Like
I'm not worried about it because I know it's gonna be huge. I'm just
yeah.
I don't know. It's weird.
You
I
can
just-
relate.
I'm
He's
just-
deciding who he still wants to talk to after he's famous.
Yeah.
And
I'm just kidding. No, I don't know. I'm just really freaked out.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I'm excited. I'm in the same boat as you. I just got
Totally.
my premiere ticket and my swag bag,
Oh my
and
gosh, yeah.
I'm super excited.
Well, yeah, I don't think you have any reason to be freaked out. You should just be excited.
I'm getting there. I'm
Yeah.
getting there.
Oh my gosh, Super Soul Conversations with Marlowe. Okay, so now we're going to go into news
Wait,
segment.
can we talk about Todrick that he showed up?
Oh, we were
Yeah,
going to talk
we
about
didn't even
Todrick for
talk about
Karamo. I forgot to mention. Okay, so rewind whoop, back to Karamo. Todrick showed up
I
at the
love
house.
Todrick,
So
and I did not expect
cute.
him to show up. It was a total surprise. I thought it was a great part of the episode, and I think it totally tied it all together. It brought it full circle. He mentioned it throughout the entire episode, so I thought it was just a fantastic cherry on top.
Yeah, and Karamo, I think, was the one who like set that whole thing up, right? I mean, we can only assume he acted like he did.
I guess.
Whatever. I mean, he showed up. It was amazing. It was awesome.
Yeah, I like the conversation that he had with Skylar, like talking about like his surgery and like his mom and stuff. Like I teared up during that part. Like that was
Oh,
really
yeah.
sweet.
I love that.
Yeah.
And Todrick was super sweet, and how he was affectionate. I think
Yeah.
he's really good with his fans. I love that about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I concur.
And Todrick is like super talented. If you haven't seen the visual album Straight Outta Oz, it is amazing.
It was really good.
The production value is sick. It's beyond. It's it really is incredible. Which I mean, it's understandable that Skylar was so inspired by Todrick Hall. And good on you, Todrick, for showing up for the LGBT community on Queer Eye. So now we're gonna fast forward into the news and gossip segment of our show.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Yes. So Drew, I think, has some hot tea with this episode, some controversy. What's been going on?
Okay, so when the episode came out, there was a couple of think pieces by transgender writers, and they just felt like
Love a think piece.
the episode basically was only saying that your identity as a transgender man or woman is vilified if you get a surgery, and that's not true for a lot of transgender people, and they felt like that maybe that's how Queer Eye was trying to present it. And so Skylar did an interview and said, you miss out on so much of what they were there for like 2 weeks with him. You missed out on so much of, what they actually did, that Bobby actually, Skylar ended up having to get another surgery for something and needed someone to help take care of him, and Bobby actually like arranged people to come down there and help and take care of him. And that he still talks to Bobby all the time, that
Nice.
that they really are as genuine and sweet as we think they are on the show. And so that it was such a life-changing experience for him, and he said that he hates that people have some sort of weird feeling towards it because he didn't feel like he was being paraded around like a circus
Like an
animal or anything.
exactly.
Yeah.
See, that warms my heart. This is Super Soul Conversations on a Sunday. Come on, Oprah. We're coming for you, Oprah. Well, see, I love this. I love this whole topic, too. It's like, this is my personal opinion, but I feel like a lot of times whenever something happens in pop culture regarding a trans person, the LGBT community, like, some people claim to know more about the right way to be trans than others, and they're very hard and hold that trans moment in pop culture to a very high standard. And it has like, sometimes it makes me angry because I think it makes some trans people think like feel they're under more pressure whenever they come out as trans. It's like, I need to do it exactly right because everybody in the LGBT community is dragging trans people in pop culture for doing it wrong. I mean, they dragged Caitlyn Jenner. I'm going to keep my opinion on Caitlyn Jenner separate, but they dragged Caitlyn Jenner. They dragged RuPaul for what he said about trans people. Yeah. They drag everybody for their opinion on what it is to be trans, and sometimes it does more harm than good. Sometimes you just need to meet people where they are and support them, right?
I think the RuPaul Caitlyn Jenner thing, I think those are different situations, but I think as far as I get both sides of it, because on the one hand, and this isn't, for instance, I'm black, and so when you see black representation, you don't want it to be X, Y, and Z. I'm tired, like, I don't want to see, the only black people on TV being portrayed as thugs or criminals or slaves, you want to see accurate representation, and when you don't get many opportunities to have that representation, you want it to be right. And obviously, it sucks that there isn't enough trans representation, but I do understand how people are, trying to be careful with it and trying to make sure that it's something that's real and raw and not something to be a spectacle, because there's not that many opportunities if we're being honest. And so I get both sides of it.
I mean, I think, it does kind of create that like fear of like, what am I trying to say?
You
like
wanna
it
do
comes,
it
like how we put so much pressure on people to be a certain way, especially trans people. You all have to have the same opinions, you have to do the same thing and like the same things. And so I think even coming back to like acting, like people are scared to like write trans characters because you have to write a very certain way. And so then, that creates like a very lack of like trans roles in the first place. Like, so like, it even comes back to like acting and stuff. So I don't know. I think I agree with you in that there's a lot of pressure by a lot of the LGBT community to be a certain way.
Oh my God, what do you think about the Scarlett Jo thing?
I don't care.
That was like the best possible answer you could have given. I literally had someone like come up and ask me to ask you that. They're like, ask him about the Scarlett Jo thing, and I'm like,
no,
okay.
I want to talk about it. I totally get why people are upset, because like we're in a place in our society where it's like trans actors can only go for like trans roles because there's a misconception that trans actors can only play trans roles. And then when most of those trans roles only go to cisgendered actors, it's like, okay, Scarlett Johansson's playing like a trans role like that I could have got, great, So I totally get that. But, the problem isn't that like, a cis actor can't play a trans role. It's that our society doesn't allow trans actors to have the opportunity in the acting
And the movie studio's like, Scarlett Joe's gonna make 40,000 or 40 million.
Yeah.
So they're just totally not even looking at it in a humanity kind of way.
Yeah, it's all about like money, and so like that's the problem. It's not her playing a trans role, you know.
Yeah.
So like I don't care about that.
See, this is the reason why we brought Marlowe on this episode. He has all the right perspectives on trans issues, and he's just going to be our trans correspondent from now on.
Okay.
And it's going to be great. So it sucks that there was some controversy surrounding this episode, season 2, episode 5, Sky's the Limit. But it's great that Skylar addressed it and said that no, don't drag or read the Fab Five because they're doing the best they can and they are really here for me. So now we're going to finish up with a quick segment called Doing the Most. Everybody kind of be rapid fire. Who do you think is going to, or who do you think made the biggest impact on this episode? Drew, who do you think had the biggest impact?
As an audience, I think because the show is catered towards the people who aren't around a lot of LGBT people, and it wants to normalize that. So I think for Midwestern America, Tan was the biggest impact, but for Skylar, it was Bobby.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Drew on this one. I totally agree. I think Tan for the show, like on it, because he just needed to be educated, like you said, and then outside of it, I think it was Bobby.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Tan because I think like, yeah, the clothes are so important. Like as a trans guy, like I know how important clothes are. I know how important it is to like look in the mirror and like see the figure that you want, and he really got that out of like the stuff that Tan gave him. So I would say Tan.
I'm going with Tan. I think we all agree that Tan was clearly a front runner. Bobby also had a lot to do with it. Yeah. This was a great episode. I loved it. It was a tearjerker.
What about the crime meter? We have to do the crime meter.
Oh, the crime meter. It was a full 10.
We don't have time for credit.
We don't have time for crime meter. Crime meter for everyone was a 10. My name is Charles Conley. Thank you so much for watching this episode. Thank you so much, Marlowe, for being with us.
Thank you.
It's Marlowe Percival. Is that how you pronounce it? Marlowe Percival. She's I'm so sorry. He's a trans actor, and he's very cool about dealing with us and putting up with us. And you can catch him on Freaky Friday. I'm Charles Conley. You can find me at Charles Connolly.
Oh, I'm going again. I'm Marlowe Percival. You can find me at Marlowe Percival.
Guys, Hollywood Leanne. You can find me on everything. Hollywood Leanne. Wednesday nights, Real Housewives of New York City. And the premiere of Real Housewives of Orange County. Monday night. Check me out.
And I'm Drew Jones. You can follow me on all the things at OKDrewJ, and make sure to hang out with me at Comic-Con San Diego. Okay, bye.
Woo! Okay, bye. Thanks, y'all. Bye, everyone.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Cheers to the queers.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.